Hello, gorgeous Gemini, and welcome to November 2020. This month, in some ways, I think is just like a big weight lifted off our shoulders in some ways. It's also a continuation of some of the dense themes we were working with in October. It's definitely a time of transformation. This time of year just tends to be that way anyway. As we move through the bulk of Scorpio season and as we move deeper into the month, and for those of us in the northern hemisphere, we're moving deeper into the winter months, and in the southern hemisphere, we're moving into the summer months. This is a very transitional month in some ways, right? And there's kind of a tug of war between that sense of relief and that sense of intensifying. So you Gemini air signs, I think you can appreciate that dualism. I have a big message coming through for Geminis, which I think is kind of fun, and it fits with the work you're doing with that North Node moving through your sign. And I like to say this, whenever the North Node is moving through your sign, this is an opportunity for you. The spotlight is kind of on you. The energy is kind of on your side, but it also comes with a little bit of pressure, a little bit of like intensifying of focus on where it is you're driving your life. So that year and a half, and you're, near the beginning of that process, you're feeling this sense of workshop, of creativity, of really getting honest with what it is you're wanting to create, move in the world. And that was the first message that came up for November for all of you. This is a month to workshop new ideas around work, new ideas around relationship. And part of that is the very beginning of this month. We have full moon in Taurus happens on Halloween. So the very beginning of November, the first few days of November, we're going to be bathing in that Taurus full moon, that Venusian energy that is welcoming in new energetic patterns when it comes to our creativity. Now for you, that's that 12th spiritual house. It's very mysterious and it calls on your soul to speak to you. And then we also have things happening very quickly this month. On the 3rd of November, Mercury, which has been going retrograde for 3 weeks, goes direct in Libra, your fellow air sign, your 5th heart house chakra. Venus is also in Libra during this beginning of this month, and she's lighting up your heart chakra as well. These are very creative transits moving through for Gemini, very supportive of you, very much opening you up at a time where a lot of us have wanted to be hardened or to shut down a little bit just to deal with the intensity of life. Shuffling already, and the Knight of Pentacles came out. We also move through Scorpio season, right? 5 of Swords, classic, loves to show up. I think this year, 5 of Swords is a very fitting card in some ways. We're moving through Scorpio season through most of this month, right? Which is such a powerful time. Queen of Swords. And for you, Gemini, this has to do with how you're connecting to your body. 2 more cards wanted to come out. King of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. A lot of personalities here. A lot of energy focused on connection, communication, healthy boundaries, listening in deep, being honest with yourself. And as we move through that Scorpio energy and that 6th house for you Geminis of connecting with your physical, we then move into Sagittarius season. And Venus moves into Scorpio the same day the sun moves into Sagittarius. And Venus in Scorpio is very intense. It's very intensive. Wants to get deep in relationship. And then the sun moving into Sagittarius is very much about relationships. And I always call this season, when the sun is in your opposing sign, mirror season. This is a time to take stock. It's your half birthday for those of you who are Gemini suns. This is a time where you can look at your life from the opposing lens and you can see where you've come since Gemini season 6 months ago. And this really asks us to get very honest with ourselves, very full of integrity when it comes to ourselves. And we end the month with this full moon in your sign on November 30th, highlighting who you are and who you've become. There's almost this sense of full fruition for you. And I think when you get asked to workshop ideas and workshop who you're becoming, the same time that is happening, you're also having to let go of who you thought you were. Now, here's the thing. You have very staunch energy in these cards this month, my friends. There isn't a lot of wishy-washiness going on. There's a practicality. There's a clarity. There is an honesty to the truth. You know, we start with Knight of Pentacles, our dear friend, the very cautious, observant, take one step at a time, don't be jumping into anything haphazardly energy. You know, this year is so full of twists and turns and energetic waves and spikes and cycles, and it can feel really overwhelming to navigate that. And it's okay, I think, to get back to basics. Knight of Pentacles is all about back to basics. The shadow side is never moving, right? Being afraid that in taking a leap of faith, things will fall apart. The upside to Knight of Pentacles is that you can really look around. Where do you really want to be investing that pentacle, that energy, that focus? Looking around, really taking stock, really getting honest with yourself at this time. You know, this month is really powerful because Mercury goes direct. Mars also goes direct on the 13th in Aries. And with those direct motions, most of the planets by the end of November are going to be direct. And we are going to be out of that really introspective 6 months where so much was retrograde. And as we do that, you know, we're coming to terms with how we've grown and changed. Now, there's this Five of Swords, and this is where I think there can be a little bit of the shadow side of Knight of Pentacles, right? Because the Five of Swords is very paranoid. It's very worried about not trusting people and about not trusting oneself, about who's going behind whose back, who's up to what. Can I really trust this version of events? You know, really getting into your thoughts and into your mind and like going on loops around and around and around. Knight of Pentacles is very apt to take that time sitting there looking around to get really paranoid and really freaked out. So there's a word of caution here with how you're using your thoughts and where you're feeling caution, why you're feeling caution. There's a difference between feeling caution because something just doesn't feel connected to you in a real way, or it just feels a little bit rushed, or it feels a little bit out of step, and when you're just afraid of growing and getting bigger. So you're going to be asked here to discern which is which this month. Which one is really you feeling this is not right for me on an intuitive level, you know, because it's just, it feels rushed, it feels off, it feels inauthentic, and what is something that you're really wanting to do, you're really wanting to explore, but you're a little scared because it means you have to be authentic and vulnerable and you have to make some moves in the world. So that's a big part of it. So keep that in mind. I think especially the first half of this month, as we're still getting out of Mercury post-shadow phase and as we are moving into, and as Mars is starting to go direct, we are coming to some closing out of some big energy. Now, the last three cards we have here today, all royalty. Queen of Swords, King of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. These are personalities. You may have a lot of energy around you. You may be working with a lot of different personality types at this time. You may be noticing that you're bringing in air, earth, water, energy. That's true. The other side of this conversation is these are aspects of yourself you're being asked to use, to activate, to do all this workshopping that I was talking about. This is a time of connection and creative flourishing for Geminis. You know, the energy here is really wanting you to get back to basics, just putting one step in front of the foot in front of the other, very much like writing a book. You got to start with one sentence, right? And these energies here speak to that for me. You know, Queen of Swords and King of Pentacles are both very earnest energies. They're very honest. They're very upfront. They don't mince their words. They're not looking to just do something because somebody else thinks it's a good idea for them or to cross their own boundaries. They're going to say what they really need to do, and they're going to get back to basics. And I think there's a really honest integrity here. So often wisdom, when we're in prayer with the divine, or when we're in meditation, or when we're really asking for guidance, we're looking often for a complex answer that asks us to go through a lot of mental gymnastics. But often, you know, Queen of Swords, King of Pentacles wisdom is very simple. It's take care of your body. You know, you need to start going to bed at 10. I don't know. I'm not going to be the one who tell you what the wisdom is that you need right now, because it will be different for everyone. But often it will be very simple, very straightforward, not very flashy things that are just impulses that come out of you. So listen for those non-flashy things to show you this workshopping way forward. You know, don't look for the big, splashy, sequin bedazzled weirdness as a sign that you're doing okay. This month for Geminis, you are going to be flourishing, you're going to be doing very well, but it's going to come from the details. It's going to come from the tiny steps. It's going to come from a very earnest place. Queen of Cups wanted to come out here in our conversation today, and that is important because, you know how I was talking earlier, the discernment between what just feels off and what just makes you nervous because you're getting bigger and you're growing into a new version of yourself. The Queen of Cups speaks to that discernment. She's very quiet, also gives very crisp wisdom, very simple wisdom. It's not about jumping through mental hoops. It's not about gymnastics. It's not about rhythmic gymnastics or triathlon of our mind to get to a helpful, beautiful place. So this month, everything here in these cards is saying keep it simple. I'm going to finish off the November readings a little different this month. I'm bringing out my Animal Totem Tarot by Lisa Robinson. I haven't brought this out since the beginning of 2020, actually, when we were doing our January readings. And I love this deck, and I love the description she writes for these. And so I'm going to use her words and wisdom for our call, or our talk today. Two of Pentacles came out. So let's see what the Two of Pentacles is all about. I've got to go through my book here. We're in Cups. Sorry for the delay here, my friends. Okay, Two of Pentacles, the Harrier Hawk. Let me show you this image again. Here's the message from the Harrier Hawk. Every day brings with it something new to deal with. It is like a never-ending cycle of lessons, demands, and chores. Yet I know I am not alone, and that those around me share the same burden. Each of us only deals with that which we are skilled to deal with, meaning we only ever carry small pieces of the larger workload, so none of us ever get overwhelmed or burned out. Wow. I think that really speaks, the smaller pieces. That was just what I was saying. And this is such a beautiful artwork. I just love it. I love the way nature gives us deeper wisdom. Those smaller pieces, not having to pick up the entire carcass, not having to pick up the entire burden of your life and put it through the ring. You know, it's about those little pieces. You know, Two of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite and a lot of the other traditional methodologies of tarot is about decision making, about a crossroads, about choosing what feels right to you, and not choosing and not picking up everything that you think you need to pick up, not forcing yourself to juggle everything and be everything all the time. And this month is a huge month of discernment for you. I think we think of creativity as picking up as many things as we possibly can and carrying it around on our back and saying, now I'm being prolific, now I'm being creative. I think creativity is actually stripping back, creating space, getting really deliberate with what we are choosing to put into our lives. And yes, I'm talking about the work you do in the world, who you are in the world. I think this also applies to relationships. You don't have to pick up every single relationship and be juggling them all and trying to be the best for all of them. Which relationships are really nourishing you right now? Where do you need healthy boundaries? Do you feel like you're carrying the weight or the heft of a relationship, whether it's friendship, family, or love, and feeling like you need to carry it all? This month is going to be a month of honesty around all of those issues, especially the more we are leaning into Sagittarian energy for you. So keep that all in mind, my friends. This November, it's going to be really powerful. And I know a lot of you are feeling really overwhelmed and like how to deal with just everything going on politically, culturally. economically. And one of the places that I find I'm able to give a lot of extra support is my Patreon. We're going to be coming out of this Mars retrograde together, doing the worksheets, doing the discussions, doing the rituals, doing the full and new moon rituals. It's a really great space. So if you're looking for extra support, I would love to see you over there. We have a really amazing community of fellow seekers and thoughtful people. A really great place to get some connected. So I'll leave the link for that below. You can also find me on my website and on my Instagram. I'll leave all of those in the description box so you know where to find me. I will see you in December and also in November when we go over these big, beautiful moons, including your full moon. And of course, I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. So if you are looking for some really beautiful, thoughtful jewelry, go check her out in her Etsy shop. Also leave that in the description box. I'll see you in December. I can't even believe that. It's so crazy. I love you so much. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you very